because I'm a pro. I don't currently see it. Maybe this is where, sometimes you watch a YouTube thing and then people are like, oh, why was you just standing there for a minute? This is why, because it didn't really seem like it went live yet. Do you have it yet?
I'm making the...
All right, in case someone's watching, I'll just tell you what's going on. It's the end of the day. It's the end of our week here at Throttle Company. I am Dylan. This is Nicole. We are some of the people that work here. We are 2/3 of the people that own this company with my dad. And we are Throttle Company. Here we're sitting in the showroom. The newly redesigned, slightly showroom as the video. We got some kinks to work out. Video gets all kinky. Did you see it yet? Am I just talking to myself, or?
I'm still making the...
Does it exist?
Post.
Anyway, we're trying to do a live show. People can talk. People can interact. It'll be at the end of the day. It may or may not be the end of the day. Sunday. Oh, I am seeing myself. Okay, so it says 3 are watching. So Nicole's trying to get a handle on the chat. So if you do have questions to ask or whatever, we'll be happy to, we'll think about it. and
I may or may not answer.
Yeah. So speaking of, in case you don't know, so I'm definitely here. So if you're here, say hi. If you have a question, ask a question. This is our first time doing this. We're also recording it separately, and we can all upload it later or whatever, but we just thought it'd be fun to do a little thing. In case you saw Nicole on Biker Babe Beth, who is a friend of ours, friend of the channel, and Nicole did a couple of weeks ago, did her Between Two Sportsters, had a lot of fun, thought we should do this, and we've been talking about it for a while. So Nicole is Road Warrior Moto. So I had said this earlier when we were doing a little bit of practice. She's her own human being, and she has her own things going on. She's starting a series called Nicole Will Ride It, which is you show up with a bike. It's not just an open invitation to anyone, but our friends are showing up with bikes and saying...
I'm not saying it's not an open invitation.
I just got this bike. But what I'm imagining is 50 people lined up outside down the street waiting for Nicole to ride all their motorcycles and tell them what she thinks about it.
Oh, it's asking for my opinion. I was just going to ride it. Never tell you what I think.
I thought you were going to do a video and talk about it. This is fun. This is fast. This is
how
loud.
I'm going to make the $1,000 a month. It's just withholding my information.
Oh, I think I see somebody said something. It's so far away from me.
Okay, I just shared it a bunch. Now I'm trying to find the chat myself.
I see it. Well, I see you guys at Mecum again in January. Absolutely. You're Flat Cap Cafe Racer, and I've been watching your videos on YouTube, and I remember talking to you on the floor at Mecum about GB 500 and maybe a couple other things. And yeah, absolutely. We were just talking about this the other day. We are going to go to Mecum again. It's like our, big trip every year, so we'll definitely plan on going there. I'm still looking at some bikes that we got last year and haven't touched yet, so
we have 4 people watching. One of them is
hi.
me.
Hello. One I think one's probably technically me, so there are a couple other people. This is the first time we're doing this. This is our way of Nicole was like, oh, we should make a video that says come watch our thing, and I was like, we'll just do one, and then people would be like, that sounds fun, I'll join, I'll catch the next one. Or
so
whatever.
If you didn't know about this until 26 seconds ago, that's because it didn't exist until 26 seconds ago. So don't feel bad or feel special.
We're making it up. We're making it up as we go. Okay, so where were we? Nicole will ride it. And then you've been doing, this is something I was going to talk about that's pretty funny, that you've been doing Ask Me Anonymously. So if you go to Road Warrior, which is Warrior, I'm worried about something, Moto, it's a joke, people. Anyway,
the number of arguments I've gotten into people with about whether or not I did that on purpose.
You're just spelling it wrong
astounding.
and everything. We came up with this name. It took a long time of thinking. Basically, it delayed. This is how all these ideas work. It delayed your channel being created because you were I don't have a name yet. And then we came up with Road Warrior, and it fits you perfectly because you're constantly worrying. It's not the happiest thing, but you are. That's something you do. So. Anyway, so back to the ask anonymous questions. And people have been asking you anonymous things, mostly about hooking up with Beth in some capacity or another.
Or making an OnlyFans, which I will have my awkward fans available for $1,000 a month. It does not really exist, so don't ask me.
Google that or whatever. Anyway, The one thing that I thought was really funny that everyone seemed to really enjoy, and me specifically, was when someone asked you if you thought Bigfoot or other, what do they call them, cryptids, zoological, whatever it is.
I love that question, and my friend Colin messaged me and said it's the best answer to that question he's ever seen.
I think he's right.
And that's very flattering, Cole. But I think about it a lot from the actual like biological standpoint. So not only do I think about it, but I also worry about it. No surprise there. But worry about whether or not something like that could exist in real life. Mm-hmm. So why did you ask that? Why did you bring that up? Just that I get good questions on the Not Gonna Lie?
Yeah, well, no, yes. So anyone who's watching this could go find you, Road Warrior Moto, I've said it a million times. Instagram mostly. It's Instagram where you answer the questions. Mm-hmm. And then ask you the questions when it's called NGL, Not Gonna Lie, right?
Yeah.
And it's anonymous questions. So you just hit the link and then you ask, and then she doesn't know who said it, and then sometimes she answers it if it's super
I have
weird.
a little bit of a disclaimer for people who answer those questions, though.
Answer?
Yes, for people who answer the question or ask the questions, yes, who submit for someone to answer their question. It is anonymous. However, I've been given the opportunity. I have not taken advantage of it yet, nor do I think I would. But don't ask a question that you really don't want someone to find out about, because you can pay as the receiver of the question. I don't know how much money it is. I don't know what the process looks like. But in theory, one could find out who you are.
I told you I don't like this. I think it creates the situation for an arms race where you can pay to find out who they are, and then they send that guy a message and he says, Nicole can figure out who you are. Do you want to pay more to figure out to make it more anonymous again? And it's just never ending. And also, it kind of violates the agreement. It's called anonymous.
Yes. Well, I mostly use the Not Gonna Lie as entertainment, because I do avoid answering the same question over and over again.
You're avoiding this question. Is Bigfoot real? Go for it right here and now.
So do we really want to know?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not a question of whether or not Bigfoot is real.
No, I'm asking that
or
question.
not real. It is whether or not the concept of Bigfoot could be real or not real. So if we're really getting into this, let's do this, because the carrying capacity of an environment requires there be enough resources, mates, biological diversity, habitat, water, sufficient anything for a certain species. Something the size of a humanoid requires way bigger genetic diversity than a single unit, for sure. And anything less than 20, you're getting a little bit inbreeding going on. Mm-hmm. And then, so if you had a group of 20 people living on an island, and then some adventurers come and discover that island, they're going to know almost immediately where those people are or where they have been.
Which people? The
20
new
people?
Okay.
No, the 20 people living on that island are going to be discovered so quickly because things
so
of this size.
Your argument sort of boils down to we would have found them by now.
Yes, I found them, or found more irrefutable evidence that they exist.
Yes, no, I agree.
Unless, I think the GoPro turned off.
Did it? We died? I think it might have overheated. Well, I heard a beep, but it still seems to be working.
But there's no red blinking dot.
I'm not seeing anything down here. What do you think? Am I still down there, or is it frozen?
I think it's frozen.
You think it overheated?
Yeah. That's not good. Okay, so if you were watching us earlier, we were on a GoPro, and I think the GoPro Live connection is overheating the battery, so we are on phone battery now. So if you are with us, thank you for coming back. I will see if you guys are back here. It's just going to be the next...
It's not as good looking as before. It's fine.
It's fine. All right.
Okay, anyway, so we saw that some people were watching.
We lost every person.
It happens. So that one froze. Some people were watching. If you're watching, feel free to ask a question. We were talking about Bigfoot, and Nicole voted officially no. If you don't know this about Nicole, this is a reference to Eddie Izzard. What's it called? Dressed to Kill.
Dressed to Kill.
I forgot to do that part earlier. Dressed to Kill is a comedy special, and so Nicole majored in running, jumping, climbing trees. That's the reference. And because he's an action transvestite. And
look, that's a direct quote. Do not come for him.
It's Eddie Izzard. Anyway, you did outdoor education as your major.
Yes.
And
So,
so that's why you care so much about Bigfoot or have opinions about Bigfoot.
please don't make me seem like I'm some sort of like conspiracy theorist about Bigfoot. But the concept, I feel like it's totally fine. First of all, conspiracy theories do not mean you're crazy. Conspiracy theories, there can be crazy conspiracy theories.
I didn't think this was going to be that kind of podcast.
What did you think you were
show.
getting yourself into?
Oh my God. Go ahead. We all have, we didn't land on the moon or whatever you're saying.
That's not. Look, I'm on the opposite side of a lot of those conspiracy theories. However, I think that they should exist because it makes people use some amount of critical thinking, evidence-backed critical thinking.
I'm a fan of
And
critical
that's
thinking.
an entire class I had at college was just, here's this ridiculous thing, this quote conspiracy theory, prove that it's real.
Okay, we according to this new device that we're using called the Pod Track, which I don't know if I can recommend it, but it's brand new and seems to be pretty cool. We only have 13 minutes left. So, were the things you specifically want to cover? Did you want to talk about motorcycles? What motorcycles did you ride this week?
I have ridden my 2020 Lowrider S,
Mm-hmm.
a 2020 Moto Guzzi V85 TT Travel.
It's right over there. Go ahead.
What else did I ride? I rode a 2022 Royal Enfield Classic on a test ride.
3.
This particular week, like Wednesday to Sunday, I think that's all I rode.
Oh yeah, you were
Last
sick.
Week,
You were sick this week.
yeah, I was
Well,
sick
strep
this week.
throat. Oh my God. But
Last
I didn't
week
get it.
I rode, or the week before that, I rode like 5 people's bikes. 2 of them were Ryan Conlon's.
It's a weird little symbol.
Okay,
Chill out,
so
bro.
I am trying to
gotta-
make this.
All this stuff is new. We got to sort it out.
Yes, thank you for sticking around to the attempt number 2 of Quittin time. By the way, I think
It's gonna get better every time, everyone.
we're going with Quittin time.
Yeah. Quittin.
Quittin.
Y'all, it's colloquial.
Okay, so
Microphone.
what we would love for this to do is talk about Throttle Company.
Yeah.
Apparently, talk about me
Well, I mean, you're part of it.
and answer your questions. Wrap up the week.
But here are the things that I think would be interesting to talk about, and you can ask these things, or we can just talk about them anyway. But things like we own a motorcycle dealership. It's Royal Enfield and Moto Guzzi, so brand new Moto Guzzi and Royal Enfield, and then vintage bikes. We're standing in the vintage room right now, also / Moto Guzzi room, and that's interesting. I think we've been doing it for 2 years, a little bit over 2 years now. What do you think? 2.5 almost.
We're almost 2.5. Well, so I always like to say that there is a complicated answer to that simple question, because I think people are interested in really how we got started.
Yeah, of course.
So-
okay, but I'm just teasing these things. I don't need to answer yet. And like I rode. You listed all the motorcycles you rode this week. I probably rode 20 motorcycles this week. So it's not bragging. I'm just saying that's interesting. We could talk about all those things. We could talk about what's it like dealing with Royal Enfield. What's it like dealing with Moto Guzzi? How do we like the motorcycles? What's our favorite motorcycle of all time? What is a cool vintage bike? What if I want to get into motorcycling? What if I want to get into vintage bikes? What if I already have a Royal Enfield? So basically, people are constantly coming in and asking us questions, and we have this thing called Kickstands and Coffee on Saturday morning, 9 to noon, and people show up and they want to ask things, and sometimes not everybody can. We don't have the time to visit with everyone, so this is like a great chance to. Or you live in Arizona and you want to ask a question.
And now that it's cold.
Yeah,
because I already
right.
noticed when it went below 60 degrees that Kickstands and Coffee has the diehards. And I rode in for Kickstands and Coffee. You rode in for Kickstands and Coffee. I think Tony did.
Do you have a rule? By the way, you're talking about cold. We're in Columbus, Ohio, in case anyone's watching this and doesn't know where we are. But what is your rule for the temperature?
I don't have one.
But
and here's why.
Okay.
Because it's all situational for literally any time I ride. So
Well, if it's like raining.
right. So there's a lot of columns. If it's 65 degrees outside, but the rain is cold,
Yeah.
that sucks.
No, I don't.
But
want
if
that.
it's 50 degrees,
Oh, can we back up 1 second? So my rule in the rain is I don't want to leave in the rain. Now, of course, if you have to go 1,000 miles and it's
sure,
like I gotta be there.
when it comes to rain, which if you are unfamiliar with me,
I'll read this.
sorry,
while
I
you
got
talk.
distracted by someone chatting in because it comes up on the screen that I'm looking at. But if you have not ridden with me yet, it will rain. Sorry, but you should invest in a good rain suit. I haven't even found a good one. So if you have suggestions for a good rain suit, I bought what I thought was a real good one and it sucked right away. But if it's raining right when I'm leaving and I'm going on a trip, I will push that back. If it's raining and I have to be somewhere, I'll probably still ride. But the threat of rain really isn't that big of a deal for me anymore, unless it's really, really cold, which I thankfully have not ridden in the really, really cold while it's raining. I have ridden when there are flurries, so there isn't snow on the ground, but there is snow actively falling. So the lowest I've ridden down to is 32 degrees.
Yeah, that's it?
Yeah.
Oh, I was hinting at earlier. By the way, Andy said hi. We can say hi to Andy, but he said that it was hard to hear us, and that probably is true. We already did the GoPro, and that probably had better sound because I noticed the GoPro does have better like directional sound. This is just on my phone because that GoPro I think overheated, and so it's just your phone picking up our talking now? Yeah, that's how the GoPro was too, because we don't have a plug into it.
Oh.
That will be next time, episode 2. So yes, the sound might not be the best, but we can also recut it and add
so we're
this
recording
good
the sound. Okay, yeah.
It's just, what was that?
I don't know.
Something fell or something? You go look and I'll
okay,
do the
I'm
heavy
gonna
lifting.
leave the team.
The thing that I was going to talk about earlier, it sounded like something fell in the other room. So Nicole, we're the only ones here. So Nicole's going to look.
Send me out into the horror.
Yes. This could be a fun horror movie. That's a great. We should have done that. We should have just pretended to do a live, and then the whole time it looks like we get murdered or whatever. That would be hilarious. Anyway, what I was going to allude to is this is what I've heard one time about when to know when to ride. So it's your age as the temperature. Now, of course, this only works for Fahrenheit. Because Celsius, who knows, everybody's over their age, but it
was a ghost.
Oh, it was a ghost. Did you hear me what I was saying? How funny it would be if we were just like, oh, let's do a live, and we're kind of like clumsy at it, and we don't have the sound good, and then like Nicole gets murdered, and then like I get murdered, and it's all in the thing, and it's like a horror we made because it's like Happy Halloween, everyone. I know that.
That's
now
such a great idea.
Anyway, that'd be very funny because we'd be like, well, this live is so boring, and then like, did she just get murdered? Anyway.
It's like my favorite episode of Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, I know, it's so good. Anyway, it has to have a double trick. Anyway. The rule, what I was going to say. So for example, if you're 35 years old, you can ride 35 or above. If you're 70 years old, you can ride 70 degrees.
Or that's your minimum that you have to.
Yeah, that's the minimum. That's what I'm saying for temperature. So like if you're 20, then you're, robust and vibrant and
getting frostbite.
And you can just handle anything. So you ride in 20-degree weather and no problem. But if you're 70, you're like, I'm not getting outside unless it's perfect. And there's somewhere in the spectrum. Now, it doesn't work obviously in the extreme. So if like you're like 95 years old but still spry, and you're like, well, I don't ride unless it's 95. That's ridiculous. Or if you're like 15 and just learning to ride.
So I think the thing that does not take into account is that wind chill factor changes everything.
Yeah, so don't go like 70, but like ride around. Like you could ride 10
so like
miles
35 miles an
miles.
hour and under, you're generally going to be riding at whatever the actual like air temperature is. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to take the freeway, that can take, a 60-degree day down to 42 degrees, which could be too cold, which is why I don't understand people who don't ride without a helmet and no jacket on the freeway.
Your ears will freeze off.
Yeah, it's just
Okay, so that was something. I was just listing off all the right. This is how we got stuck into this deep dark hole. This is what we do. You and I both do this. Get off onto tangents, which is why
you gotta ask questions.
But okay, so I think we could just lean towards wrapping this up. I don't remember how it felt like. I'm not good at knowing this one yet because it's brand new. But like it sounded like we only had 30 minutes, and then now it's counting up. So I don't know how to tell how much time is left on that. Oh, I forgot we had cool buttons.
We don't have cool buttons.
Oh, they can't hear it, right?
You guys can't hear the
but we have a soundboard. The thing comes with a soundboard. It will work. We'll fix it in post. Okay, so anyway, that's the idea. We're fun. It's the end of our week, and we'll check in with you.
We've
and we'll
been
answer
pre-qualified.
questions, and we'll talk about like things like for example, the Scram just came out. What do we think about it? We have a video. Nicole's gonna make a video, and we'll talk about it. And like Moto Guzzi has some news. They have some new models that are just released, and then there's always news about the V100. So like we could talk about that and check in on that kind of stuff. So or like if we got a new Moto Guzzi or a new used Moto Guzzi or something like that, or a Royal Enfield. We're working on a special secret project, which we've already been teasing on our social medias. Anyway, send us questions throughout the week and tune in for the live. we will plan on doing it. The next one of these, if not before, we will be doing it next Sunday, 6-ish.
Wow. All of our pre-discussion went out the window.
What do you mean? We weren't going to commit to it? We can commit to the next one.
Oh.
The official, first,
Okay.
I promise the sound will be better. And we'll have the wah, wah, wah noise.
Oh, you can't see it, but we're using one of the carts from the shop as our audio cart.
Maybe you could see it in the GoPro shot. But
So I feel like it's important for us to say that we're setting up as we go along, and maybe we'll upgrade to a better cart.
You were talking about a GoFundMe?
Maybe we'll GoFundMe a new cart.
GoFundMe. When you sound like that, sounds like a story. Well, you could just go fund me or something.
Well, maybe I could just start an Awkward Fans. Let's just get us a cart.
Yes, Nicole will show increasingly more ankle
more Victorian ankle
until we have a cart, and we'll have the nicest cart depending on how much ankle or whatever, how many ankle daddies are out there.
Because there could be a whole podcast episode.
I was trying to wrap this up. No.
On how many times people have seen me in shorts.
Two times.
2 times.
I don't know why that's a thing. Oh, because the ankles. Yeah, they're
the ankles.
They're highly sought
bring
after.
it back around.
Okay. Thanks for watching, even though you probably didn't watch this first one.
I don't know. We just got 3 people.
We will let you know what's happening. But like I said, next Sunday, Nicole's on top of the social medias as far as Facebook and Instagram, and
yes, we are in Ohio.
We'll let people know that we're going to do this again Sunday evening, and we'll see you then. Bye. We have a cool sign-off. Do you have a cool sign-off?
Ciao.
That's another Eddie Izzard. All right. We'll see ya.